Ian Bond. He's the Director of Foreign Policy over the Center for European Reform. He joins us now from London. Ian, always a pleasure having you on the show. I want to sort of concentrate with you with the European reaction. Ubay and I were talking about how it is important, how important it is for the U.S. to sort of expand its trading and supply. Germany's fear all along was being left without Russian gas. I mean, when you look at it, they've started 2023 without Russian gas. In reality, they don't really need it. So why is Germany being reluctant about throwing its support in this?
Well, that's a good question, and it'll be interesting to see whether the new defense minister shifts position on that quickly. There's a meeting of the so-called Ramstein group of countries that have been supplying weapons to Ukraine coming up at the end of the week, and Boris Pistorius is going to have a bit of a baptism of fire, I think. But it seems to me that the Germans have all along been perhaps over concerned about the possibility that something that they would supply to Ukraine would be an escalation. Now, what we have seen is that the Russians have no problem about escalating this conflict, about targeting civilians and so on. And I think that sooner or later the Germans are going to reach the conclusion that actually the moral thing to do is to help the Ukrainians to defend their territory and their people.
Ian, since you mentioned escalating, this question comes to mind. I mean, I think from my analysis, Western officials essentially have wanted to strike a balance, a careful balance between ensuring Ukraine can defend itself on the one side, and on the other side, not really supplying arms that could encourage Kiev to actually make direct attacks on Russia. Is this part of Germany's concerns that, I mean, essentially this Leopard 2 tank is considered an offensive weapon rather than a defensive weapon?
I mean, I think we're beyond that stage anyway. The question of what is offensive and what is defensive is, pretty much in the eye of the beholder anyway. There is very little chance that the Ukrainians are going to use a handful of Leopard 2 tanks to launch an assault on Moscow or something. This is about equipping Ukraine with what it needs to be able to liberate its own territory from the aggressive, unprovoked attack that was launched on it last year by Russia. So, I think we're kind of, we should be focusing on the fact that this is about enabling the Ukrainians to get back their own territory.
Okay. Ian Bond, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. I do appreciate hearing your analysis. Thank you very much.
Thank you.